they do this year, not past history. And so I think it's kind of ridiculous if Alabama gets that 4 spot over in this scenario. Let's just say Minnesota wins out but loses in a close game to Ohio State in the Big Ten Championship game, which I don't think that would happen. I think that Ohio State will bludgeon them. I just don't think they have the speed. But let's just say that happens. And either Oregon or Utah wins out, that Pac-12 team will have won their conference with 1 loss. We'll use Oregon because they're the best case. Oregon has 1 loss against Auburn. In that loss against Auburn, they were missing 4 receivers and their top 2 tight ends and still barely lost. It took like a Bo Nix almost Hail Mary to win the game. And then they run a 9-game conference schedule and conference championship game undefeated. If the Pac-12 does not get in, you will see the playoff system as we know it spontaneously combust. They have to blow it up because that essentially means Pac-12, Big 12, I don't care how good you are. You have no margin for error over other conferences, SEC, that have wide margins for error, especially if somehow Georgia, let's just say Georgia and LSU meet in the SEC championship game. If Georgia wins that game, you're going to see both LSU and Georgia get in, guaranteed.
Well, we got to leave that.
And that's where I just have a problem with that because you've got. Go ahead, Tom.
Oh, I said we got to leave that at the final word. We're coming up to the top of the hour. We got to bail and get into some NASCAR talk. Steve Wilson, editor-in-chief of Speedway Digest, is standing by in Homestead, Florida. It's championship weekend. We love having Adam Jividen on. Adam, you're always welcome. Super Browns fan, super Buckeyes fan, and Ohio in general Kool-Aid drinker.
Last word, Tom. I think IU gives Penn State a game, but Penn State squeaks it out. I'll say I think Penn State wins by 4 because I think IU's offense is so much better than a lot of people realize, and their defense is solid. I'm going to go Penn State 27-24.
Oh, it's going to be
a close game. It's going to be a good game.
It's definitely going to be a nail-biter, and I'm excited. And I tell you what, I am going to come unhinged and lose my junk if IU beats Penn State. That's what I'll say. Adam, I appreciate you coming on and breaking down this brawl in the pound, if you will, Myles Garrett, and get your point of view on that. And thanks for hanging around overtime and filling in for Rick and some college football talk.
No problem, Tom. I'll catch you later, buddy.
Adam Jividen, Super Browns fan, brought him on to get the point of view of what happened Thursday night up in Cleveland. If you were under a rock or whatever, certainly big fight that ensued between Myles Garrett and Mason Rudolph and a bench-clearing brawl, all-out brawl. And so a lot to talk about on that. We'll get into that in the next segment. My name is Tom Marcos, El Presidente. Stick around. It's about to get good. We're going to get into some NASCAR talk as we kind of had to switch things around a little bit. But Steve Wilson down at Homestead is joining us. We'll be right back right here on the Balance Radio Network.
National Guard is a reserve component of the United States Air Force and serves alongside active duty Air Force members in times of a national crisis. In addition, the Air Guard serves the state and local community in a wide range of capacities. The reason people join the Air Guard is as diverse as our members and includes such reasons as a deep desire to serve their country, money for college, travel, new job skills, and the pride that goes along with belonging to the greatest military organization in the world. I joined because I felt a calling to serve my country, but I didn't want to be far away from my family, so the Indiana Air National Guard was a perfect fit for me. With over 95 different career opportunities to choose from and 100% paid college tuition to any state-funded college, why not give us a call? Call 1-800-841-3103 or visit online at goang.com to find out more. Again, that's 1-800-841-3103. The Air National Guard, guarding America, defending freedom.
It's double trouble, double the fun at African Safari Wildlife Park in Port Clinton, Ohio. See the largest antelope on Earth, the giant eland, and the ugliest creature on Earth, the African warthog. There's so much to see and do, including the Midwest's only drive-through safari. Feed the animals, see live educational shows, feel the excitement, have your picture taken with a python or cockatoo, feel the adventure. Shop the Simba Lodge gift shop with items available from around the globe. Visit the snack bar or picnic facilities. Enjoy a pony or camel ride. Or cheer your favorite porker on to victory in the famous Pork Chop Down. Bring your family to see the rare and exotic animals at African Safari Wildlife Park in Port Clinton, Ohio. Just take Route 2 to the Route 53 North exit and follow the sign. Only 17 miles west of Cedar Point via Route 6. Open every day, rain or shine.
Here's to the straggly ones, the first ones. Hey, I look good with this ones. The black, brown, red, and gray ones. The itchy ones. The ones grown by Dad. The ones grown for Dad. The I nearly didn't do it this year ones. And the absolutely filthy ones. They all raise awareness, raise funds, start conversations, and save lives. Because whatever you grow will save a bro. Sign up now at Movember.com.
Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire. Ooh.
All right, welcome back to the Balance 1 hour in the books. Thank you, Adam Jividen, for spending the last hour with us, coming on and talking some NFL, getting your perspective of the Brawl in the Pound on Thursday night. Big fight. Probably one of the biggest I've seen in the NFL in years. I certainly would liken it to the Brawl in the Palace between the Pistons and the Pacers several years ago. Very much similar to that. And then also breaking down some college football, a lot of college football action, Notre Dame and Navy. Big game between IU and Penn State, and certainly breaking down the college football top 25. But this weekend has come. It is here. We've been racing all year long to get to this point in Homestead, Florida. So it's race weekend, championship weekend. Steve Wilson, editor-in-chief of Speedway Digest, our official NASCAR contributor, is calling us from Homestead, Florida. I'm sure the weather is much better there than here, Steve.
Well, it's much better than really it is anywhere, to be honest with you. You come to Florida, and it's any time of the year.
I can barely hear you. I don't know if you got us on a mute, or can you hear us? Okay, Steve.
Yeah, I got you. I can hear you.
I can hear you better now. Much better now. Much better. So before we get into this, we've been having this conversation about Marvel movies. Are you a Marvel fan? Do you watch Marvel movies?
No, not really. I'm not really.
Okay. I'm not either. I kind of went down this rabbit hole of watching Guardians of the Galaxy. Then I realized I had to download the Disney Prime, and so I'm just trying to find out, what the best Marvel movies out there is, since I paid to have this Disney Prime. We'll see if I can get my money's worth on it. But we got championship weekend. Let's talk about what happened with the trucks. Today we got Xfinity. Tomorrow we got the big boys, big championship on the line. But let's talk about what happened last night after you finally got going after the rain down in Homestead.
Finally got this thing going last night after all that rain. But I mean, there was a pretty good, intense battle up there from Stuart Friesen and Matt Crafton and Ross and Chastain, all pretty much throughout the entire race. We did, I think we saw some of the best racing there. And the best three race car drivers, I know Brett Moffitt was part of it, but, he didn't seem to make so much noise last night. But in the end, Matt Crafton took this thing home, but I really do think that out of those three drivers, they were probably the best three drivers that we could have had in this field to run for a championship. And I know that they didn't win the race, and Austin Hill, who started the season off in Daytona with a win, won the race, but and he was strong all night long, so you can't take anything away from what he did. And really, Matt Crafton was able to do what Matt Crafton does and go out there and take the championship home for the third time.
Talking with Steve Wilson, editor-in-chief of Speedway Digest down in Homestead, Florida. Matt Crafton wins his third truck championship. We'll see what happens today with the Xfinity race. Steve, talk to us a little bit about what's going on with the Xfinities.
Well, I wish we knew more about what's going on with the Xfinity. Those guys, they washed them out yesterday, so in late afternoon, so they didn't really get a whole lot of time to really do anything. So qualifying's later on today, and we'll have to see where these guys are going to stack up and how they're going to race. And I think with the limited amount of time that they've had on the track already, that they, it should be a good race, but at the same time, I think there's just a lot of unknown variables that, just didn't really get to see a whole lot, and kind of same goes for Cup, and they got washed out totally yesterday and didn't get any practice time in. So, I think it's interesting. I always find it interesting when there's less practice. I don't think we need more practice by any means, and having less practice and may make a better race, and these cars will be all over the place from the get-go, and you'll see drivers struggle, and you'll see drivers rise to the occasion with their teams, and I think that's what a lot of fans are looking for, to be honest with you.
Steve, you mentioned it being a wash yesterday, so they didn't really get a chance to qualify. Are they going to try to qualify today, or are they just going to line them up according to the points or what have you?
No, Xfinity is going to qualify this afternoon around lunchtime, but they've washed the Cup Series out because they got no practice in at all, and they're foregoing qualifying later on today in the Cup Series, and those guys are just going to line up by the points. So we've got the championship 4 on that side that are going to line up 1 through 4 with Hamlin and Harvick on the front row. So they'll get a little bit of practice later on today, but not as much as they wanted, and definitely no qualifying. So I think this on that aspect is kind of an interesting deal that NASCAR would look at foregoing qualifying in the championship race and replace it with practice. So I would have done the opposite. I would like to see where these guys could really qualify at, because just stacking them all up in the front is easy, I guess, sometimes to say, but maybe one of those 4 guys just didn't have a top 4 qualifying car. Maybe he had a 15th place car, and I think that what builds the trauma up into the championship. That you may have one of these odd man out guys that would qualify 15th, and the team would work all day long and end up winning a championship where we've stacked them all up at the beginning. But I kind of get at the same time, well, we need to get these cars on track at least a little bit. I just think that it was kind of interesting in the way that NASCAR took and scrapped qualifying over practice this afternoon in the Cup Series.
Going into today's race, Justin Allgaier, Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick, Cole Custer, all below, above the line, and below there you got Austin Cedric, Chase Briscoe, and John Nemechek. But I tell you what, if we're going to look at stage wins only. We're going to look at that component only going into today's race. Christopher Bell has more stage wins than anybody in the top four. If you look at that as a component, you